For this first notebook, we're going to start off by painting the cover black. I decided to do 2 coats. Then I traced out the chalkboard-inspired design that I wanted using a pencil. If you make a mistake, you can easily clean it up with paint. Once you're tracing, you can use a paint pen to go over your design. Sorry, my video cut out here. For the second notebook, I started out by cutting some pieces of paper to cover the front label. I liked the cover of the notebook, so I decided not to change it too much. I also cut out triangle pieces of paper to go over the cover edges. Then, I used sticky tape to tack everything down. Next, I used a thick black marker to write out the quote that I had chose, which I actually redid later with a thinner Sharpie. Then I added old stamps to give it a more adventure wanderlust look. I then took a wood button and sewed it onto the notebook using a needle and thread. After you've sewed on your button, you can take some jute twine and measure it around the button and to the back. Once you've done this, take a hole punch and punch 2 holes into the back of your notebook. Then, string your jute twine through the notebook and tie a knot. I wasn't quite satisfied with how the cover looked, so I removed this label and redrew the quote using a thinner Sharpie marker. Last notebook. You will need to take a piece of paper and measure around the notebook. Then, use a scissors or a paper cutter to cut the paper down to size. Take your watercolor paint and start the painting. I applied water first to give it a ripple effect. You can really do whatever you want with this. This is your design and you can personalize it as much or as little as you like. I really liked the splatter effect, so I decided to add that in too. I used a toothbrush and some white paint to splatter on later. The toothbrush really helps the splatter. Once your design dries, take a thin Sharpie and doodle on your little design. This really makes the whole thing pop. part's optional, but if you want to personalize the notebook even more, you can add the title of your subject up to the top of the painting. Now, take your notebook and some Mod Podge and cover the whole cover with Mod Podge. Make sure to get the edges and corners really well, because this is where your drawing is most likely to peel off. Take your drawing and place it onto the cover of your notebook. Make sure it's really sealed on the edges. Then, take some heavy books and put it on top to seal the whole thing. Once your notebook is finished drying, you can take a scissors and trim around the cover. Also, if you don't like how the back of your notebook looks, you can cover that with paper as well.